there's a process for development, and we must follow that processes. And how do I mean? That there's no country that develop without a strong industrial base. There's no industrial base without strong manufacturing base. We cannot continue to import basic things that we need in Africa and feel that we become a giant, we will become a country to reckon with, a continent to reckon with. It's focusing on AI and equitable education in Nigeria. We have what we call, which is being sponsored by UNDP. We call it Unipod, a learning common, where students will come with ideas about what they want to be, and then they begin to develop themselves. Those who want to go into robotics, we have a robotics center, a hub where they go into anything. Today, we have some of our students who have developed some machines that can help people to translate local language to English.
This is the Solomon Atta podcast, where we speak to academics from Africa, from around the world, to try and get them to share with us what they are busy researching at the moment, and to be able to use that information for the benefit of society. Today, we will be speaking to Professor Olufemi Saibu. He's at the University of Lagos. Prof, good morning to you and welcome.
Yeah, good morning, Solomon Atta. Thank you for having me on this podcast. It's a privilege.
Fantastic. How is Lagos this morning? What's happening?
Lagos is fine, and Lagos is now changing gradually. There are now deliberate efforts to make things better than the way it was before, and we believe there are great deliberate efforts by government, by individuals, to ensure that we build giant Africa in enterprising and development.
You know, Nigeria is the giant of Africa in various spheres: knowledge production, economy. Lagos, I read that Lagos economy is bigger than Kenya's, and that I was fascinated. I couldn't even think of it, that Lagos state alone is bigger than a country.
Yeah, Lagos is a country within a country.
Okay.
In terms of economy, and also the dynamism in terms of entrepreneurship. Lagos becoming a center of enterprise technology and innovation, and in terms of even governance and development as a whole. And what makes that to be is that the Lagos state has several institutions, research and co, and more importantly, presence of University of Lagos in Lagos, and for the centrality of University of Lagos in mobilizing scholars, researchers, international collaborations, bring so many people who are coming to University of Lagos to see Lagos from different perspectives from the way it was. And when these scholars, when they come to University of Lagos and they are living back, they were able to take one or two things. And as we are talking currently now, for the past 2 weeks, Lagos is hosting international scholars. Last week, we just concluded International Customer Service Week. And this week, all through, we're organizing International Week, where we're inviting our partners, our friends across universities. Around 45 universities are here in University of Lagos for this week. And these are bringing people from industries, from tech guys and co. These people will spend a few days in Lagos and they see the beauty of Lagos. And therefore, when they go back, they speak better of what is in Lagos. So that's the role of academia, the role of universities, and the role of higher institutions in promoting the economic of the nation. And that's exactly what University of Lagos is doing to push Lagos beyond its peers across the African continent.
Absolutely. You have really touched on very important aspects there. But Prof, before we go, because I've got a few questions just from these introductory remarks that you've made, which means that you've actually said something around the university being at the center of society. At the center of society, even though the politicians are always driving society, but the university is at the center of knowledge and knowledge dissemination in society. Perhaps you want to just expand a little bit on that, before we can go into your discipline?
Yes, the ideas come from anybody, but it's incubated in the university. And when incubated, and also after incubation, the scaling up of these ideas require the academics to collaborate with the industry and the government provide the enabling environment. And unless the university is put at the center of this development, automatically difficult for any country in the world to be able to achieve its goals, especially developmental goals. So university is key, and is not general knowledge we do in university, is specific and deeper, and hence, unless you do not want to go deep, then that's when you play with your university. And currently now, there are several efforts, concerted efforts by government, by individuals, to ensure that university, in terms of research technology, also are playing that role critically to ensure that development is not just mere on paper, but also is reflected in the lives of people in Nigeria and Africa as a whole. And therefore, I focus more on seeing how can we collaborate. In part of my research, I have some research clusters that focuses on EU-African collaboration, China-African collaboration, and recent times we're looking at in the American impact in Africa, and also to see other people who are relating with Africa. And also, more importantly, we also were seeing how we can strengthen the collaborations within Africa. So my research focus is about deepening development through government policies and to see how we can also empower individuals, empower indigenous enterprise, and also how do we bring in our indigenous knowledge. I belong to African Indigenous Knowledge Network to see how do we strengthen our capacity as individuals. What are those things that we are doing before that make us resilient? How do we modernize them instead of abandoning them? And beyond that, apart from that, my research, I also currently I'm the director of quality assurance and Servicom. That is, I'm in charge of academic enhancement, and also in terms of service delivery universities, I ensure compliances with policies. I define policies that are relevant. I help in curriculum review to evaluate, to ensure that everybody keeps to the policies, the agendas, and again, the mission of the universities. Every time I ensure that University of Lagos raise the bar above its peers to ensure that student experience are wholesome. They come to University of Lagos to learn, and they live to earn and to lead. And that has been our drive here at University of Lagos. We bring people in who don't know where they are going. We show them direction. We also see them through. University of Lagos has done a lot in that aspect to ensure that students are not just here to earn a certificate, but also to create opportunity for others to be able to live their life. So my unit coordinates these activities to ensure that students, when they are coming in, they are guided through their processes. We ensure that policies and procedures are complied with. We ensure that everybody is able to feel like a stakeholder and to be able to ensure that you achieve your goal in University of Lagos. We only not focus on students, we also ensure staff also are taken care of, and our partners and patrons sure that also they are interested in coming to University of Lagos. And that's why today we can say that our recent ranking, where University of Lagos is ranked first in Nigeria, and it's not just because of anything, because of deliberate effort by the current management University of Lagos to ensure that University of Lagos is placed among its peers in global ranking, not only in research, also in community development. And that's what my office coordinates currently now.
You really have your hands absolutely full, besides teaching lecture, besides engaging with community. In fact, I interacted with a video where you were speaking at an event for Advertising Association, and you commented on how you appreciated that opportunity of university and industry interacting. Perhaps you want to just expand on that a little bit, because that for me, I find to be very instrumental in advancing the African project.
Yeah, thank you very much. Because of my role now and my experience and the way I schooled, I realized that during our own time, we did not have opportunity of having what they call a real student experience where you discover yourself, you develop. So all we did during that period is to read and pass exams, and again, after graduating from university, begin to look for any available job. So now, given the opportunity to be at the helm of this affair, I feel that we need to change that scenario. So what I did, and with support of my university vice chancellor, Professor Olufemi Saibu, is to a framework in which we go out to meet the industry. We are not waiting for industry to come University of Lagos. We are not looking for partners to come University of Lagos. We went out deliberately to look at where are we going now. We want to go to area of technology, we want to go to the area of engineering, we want to go to the area of science and also humanities and art. And to do that, we look at those key critical players in industries, and we sought partnership with them in terms of memorandum of understandings and also a collaboration that is involving. Today, we are able to ensure that we brought the industry to University of Lagos. Just yesterday, we brought the OpenAI managers to Nigeria, who is used, as we are talking about AI Academy, which is the first thing to be done in Africa, and University of Lagos is the first place. What are we doing with that? We want to empower our undergraduate students and graduate students to be at the top of the world as it is today. We are saying that our university graduates in the University of Lagos, they are not looking outside to go and be looking for jobs. They are job creators, they're entrepreneurs. Absolutely. And therefore, we are looking for collaboration to be mentored by people in the. And just before your call came in, I was writing the letter of appreciation on 3 key areas where we agreed upon. Number one, that they are going to enroll all our students who are entrepreneurs, who have businesses, who to establish now to become young entrepreneurs in their network, and they want to open their network for them to be able to tap into the industries. And what is this going to do for them? They are going to be able to have opportunity for venture capitals, to be able to have mentors who are going to lead them through, and also to be able to network, to be able to market their product, their talent, and rediscover themselves. Beyond that, we have a partnership with the Bank of Industry that has agreed that will be able to provide seed fund for University of Lagos students who come up with new ideas, new products. And yesterday, we did a program whereby we recognize some students who develop AI technology that can be used in our health industries to be able to identify, to be able to proactively detect diseases. These are technologies that were developed by students who are still undergraduate. So University of Lagos is opened the sky so that our students will now have a limit to be able to develop. So we are going beyond ordinary knowledge. We are going to incubation. We are going to innovation and creativities. We want people to come to university again, discover themselves, develop their ideas, and be able to market it. And so as they are living, they are problem solver. And they're also not only solving their personal problems, they are solving societal problems and contributing to global development initiatives by countries. So we are deliberate on this, and we set a target for ourselves that by 2027, we want to have more than 70% of UNILAG graduates creating jobs, not looking for jobs. So when it comes to employability, University of Lagos is looking at graduates that are employers, not people who are looking for jobs. So we are doing that, and my unit is anchoring that. And by God's grace, we are setting a target also for ourselves that we have computer engineers, and these people, we are setting up in University of Lagos a computer company, a unit where we want to produce UNILAG computers, where we believe doing that we'll be able to reduce the cost of access to computer system for students. We want to make computer available to every UNILAG student at the cheapest rate and the best quality. Once we do that by ourselves, when they have issues, they don't have to go and look for technicians to repair for them. Right in University of Lagos, they will be able to repair the laptops, innovate it, improve it. That those big companies that are in industry today, they did not start many of them started from universities. And we want to also begin to generate our industrialists, our entrepreneurs to start from university, like what operates globally. Beyond that, University of Lagos is also going forward to go into even art technology. Currently, we have a local automobile assembling plant, University of Lagos, which is NORD, NORD. And interestingly, I'm the chairman of the board of the UNILAG Nord Automobiles. What do we do there? The Nord company came to University of Lagos. We gave them a space that come and do your assembling in University of Lagos. And what are we looking for? Why are we investing in private business? Is to ensure that when students enroll in any engineering course in University of Lagos, from year one, we enroll them to go and do internship with this Nord engineering company. And from fabrication, from assembling, from electrical, from everything relating to automobiles, they are into it. Not only on conventional petrol car, they are doing electric and solar car. And this is making many of students to find their life aspiration fulfilled, even when they are still students. So, and at the end of the day, we are working to the next stage where we want to work with some organizations to be able to certify these students as automobile engineers, and so that when they graduate, they can work in any of these bigger companies, Tesla and other companies in the world, because they are now plug and play, because they have been doing it for almost 4 or 5 years when they're University of Lagos. So we are working on software, soft engineering, soft technology. We're also working on hard technology so that we can provide opportunities and open space for everybody to have his aspiration. Everybody cannot be a tech engineer. Some want to go into mechanical, into electrical, into other technology. So University of Lagos open the space beyond just a narrow area. And that's what we are doing University of Lagos. So we are opening, University stand an open university. And our goal by 2027 is to move University of Lagos from conventional university to research, and from research to enterprise university, where you come and earn a certificate, not for you to look for jobs, but to create jobs and create opportunities and contribute to the development of the economy.
Professor Saibu, that is an incredible journey that you have already undertaken, which means, because this was my question that was going to come to you about, the African university is being criticized, the African university as an institution, that are we just producing degrees, or are we producing useful entrepreneurs or problem solvers? And again, Africa, I mean, we have Agenda 2063. Africa is going to, you will be more versed with this agenda than I am, that Africa is going to be 100 years since independence, since the AU or OAU was formed. This mismatch, some of which you've already addressed as a development economist, it seems that University of Lagos is already on a path. You already have a 2-year project that by 2027, it transforms into what, if I like, maybe a practicing university, which means, or like some kind of a university that doesn't graduate just students with degrees, but it graduates students with businesses or problem solvers. Perhaps you want to expand just a bit more on that particular 2-year project that you have going on, especially when you mention NUR, when you mention computer engineering, soft technology and hard technology. You just want to break it down a little bit for our audiences so that they can enjoy how University of Lagos is taking steps or has taken steps as a university in the giant of Africa.
Yeah, thank you very much. Like I said, we are deliberate. We had a 5-year program and first 5-year agenda. And what we did at the early stage in 2022 is to begin to establish hubs, innovation hubs in University of Lagos.
Okay.
We have the sign up where we ask students to go into the studios, go there and create anything you want to do, lock yourself up into that big environment. Think of any idea that you can think of. You will have people who lead them, who are scholars, academics within the universities, and mentors in industries. We are very lucky. We are in Yaba here, where we have the tech hub in very around us. So that gives us opportunity to have direct access to many of the top tech guys in Africa, and even in the world. Beyond that, the sign up, we have what we call the Mad House. The Mad House, they made a difference, a place where we ask everybody cannot go into tech. Some people are into creative industries, the entertainment industries, those photographic and theater art and art and designs. We create a place whereby they also go there and become a crazy person, become mad in terms of idea and co. We have that one within University of Lagos that make people to think deeper about how do we use creativities to represent things. So we have that also to capture that. Beyond that, we have what we call, which is being sponsored by UNDP. We call it Unipod, a learning common, where students will come with ideas about what they want to be, and then they begin to develop themselves. Those who want to go into robotics, we have a robotics center, a hub where they go into anything. Today, we have some of our students who have developed some machines that can help people to translate local language to English, that also can help to translate English. So we are providing solutions to our local problems that can be solved globally. We are not looking for a solution that will address problems in America and co. We are looking for how can people get a document, a technology that will help the woman in the market to solve its problem. A lot of that being developed within the University of Lagos. So we have the robotic and the artificial intelligence hubs that are meant for that. Beyond that, we have a need hub unit where people begin to develop small technology that can also assist in learning, in small scale businesses. These are done to be able to ensure that when you enter University of Lagos, you have the only opportunity is for you to look at the one that align with you. 6 of these hubs are operating. Beyond that, University of Lagos is creating what we call Student Experience Center, that you go there and be yourself, interact with people, network, and which we are bringing people from the industry to come around and engage students. And by next month in November, I'm bringing a visiting scholar from Germany to create what we call a student support space, where we bring students together. They will come there twice in a week to spend around 4 and 5 hours. We bring academics, scholars, administrators, people from industries to engage with students at a very informal setting where students can express themselves, talk about anything about life, ask any questions, and those from the industries, people from the academics, and then their colleagues, they can share that together. Why are we creating this informal environment? We believe that learning takes place by impulse. It is when idea comes when you are not expecting.
I like that. Yeah.
Creating an environment that is very free. There's no formalities. There's no rules and regulations. There's no restrictions on what you can say and where you can say it. There's no issue. Oh, I cannot speak like this to my elders. This person is younger to me. We are creating an environment where everybody feel like peers, and then you can speak up your mind. Come on, what is your concerns? What is the idea you are thinking about? And then we give you a protection to ensure that if the idea comes from you, you own it. Beyond that, we have what we call ITMO, the Innovation Technology Hub also, where everybody, when they come with all these ideas from the 6 hubs we have a management unit that help you to manage this idea, to see how you can patent your idea. Those ones that need to be copyrighted, you do that. And again, to help you to do scale up, we have that. So we have innovation to market, where when you have your innovation, we have another unit that is innovation to market, where once you have already developed your innovations, we have a set of people that will guide you how to get industries and market this. These are things that we're deliberately doing to ensure that we change the narratives, we improve the capacity, and not only improving capacity, we improve the output from this capacity that have been built in University of Lagos. So we are deliberate, and we have set that target of by November 2027, then we will be able to showcase more. As of today, like the Bank of America representing African came and said that in recent times, they have seen a greater number of University of Lagos graduates competing favorably with people from other people in their programs, and that we should continue what we are doing because we are opening the opportunity for everybody to come and develop your potential. we remove all restrictions and give you the open sky for you to rise as fast as you can.
Prof, you've really covered it very well, which means from what you are saying, UNILAG is a transformative or a transformed university that is meeting African needs. Is there an intention? Because and you've used a certain word repeatedly, and I can see why. You said we are deliberate. We are deliberate. We are deliberate. You said it more than once. Is there an intention to collaborate, or is there a project that collaborates with other African universities so that this can build some kind of an ecosystem that that the universities are collaborating and producing this kind of a transformation across the continent?
Yes, thank you very much. The university belongs to Arua network, and this Arua network comprises of universities who are deliberately engaging in research for development. And I can speak as I'm talking to you. We have a very strong partnership with the University of Stellenbosch and the University of Cape Town in South Africa. We have a very strong collaboration with the University of Johannesburg. We have a very strong relationship with Makerere University, Mau University. As I'm talking to you, 3 scholars from Kenya and in Nigeria. We have from Rwanda also. And more importantly, we have a very strong collaborations with around 5 universities in Ghana, because it's more or less our neighbor. And
absolutely.
So, within Africa, we are collaborating with around 45 universities. Yes, because
wonderful.
It was mentioned yesterday. And globally, we are working with almost around over 100 universities that we have current MOU with in terms of deliberate attempts, not only to rely on maybe all this exchange that investors are going to other universities. No, to collaborate together and develop solutions for Africa. So we are not doing anything in isolation, and we are looking at the global perspectives. How can we deepen collaboration among African universities? How do we ensure that we are not doing in silos? How do we benefit from the comparative advantages that each of these universities has? And how do we accumulate this together for at least scaling up of all our efforts to ensure that we are not duplicating anything, but each of us strengthen our strength and use that to weaken our weaknesses to bring the best out of Africa. And that is exactly what we are doing currently.
Fantastic. So, Prof, I think that in the conversation that we've had so far, you have really covered a lot of territory in terms of what development economists do. Do you not want to just kind of bring it to your unit and just talk to students, aspiring developmental economists that are sitting maybe in undergraduate or that are considering to come into this field, and just kind of show them how they can get into the field that that is your discipline?
Yeah, thank you very much. In recent times, myself and some other colleagues who are conscious of our discipline are getting worried about the declining enrollment in economics as a discipline. And this is not because economics is no more important, but demand changes and people begin to look where they can quickly make money. And the development of technology, especially fintech, are moving people away from core economic studies to those areas that have financial technologies where they can build apps, build tech, and build spaces that they can address immediate financial needs of people. And therefore, many of our economics people who are to be potential economic students are more or less moving to area of finance, which, yes, of course, they are part of economy, but then they are looking at an area that is so generic than going to area where are specific. But one thing is so sure, if you check online you discover that there are high demand for economics globally now than any other discipline in business and humanities. Because anything you talk about in the world is about the economy. Everything is about the economy. Economy is about our well-being, our welfare. our employment, our job creation, how we survive, how we sustain ourselves, how even we live, our livelihood. And therefore, we need people who are deliberate in attempt to build knowledge, to apply the knowledge, and also to be able to provide tools and techniques to be able to address the development challenges that are facing the world as a whole. So my advice is this, is that I used to tell my mentees who are even here with me in my office, that while it is good to follow the crowd, at times you need to stand out among your peers and be able to have a deliberate area of specialization. And economics is a course that will definitely help you to develop your strategic decision-making ability, build your faculty, build your thinking, to provide solutions. So whatever areas of profession you decide to pick, the career you are thinking of, I believe everybody must study economics, either at year 1 or year 2, because that is what speaks about your life. So I feel that anybody that really wants to build himself into business, I think the best course he needs to study is economics. If you study economics, you can be a finance expert. If you study economics, you can be an accountant. Study economics, you can be an editor, you can be tax expert, you can be policymakers, you can be business entrepreneurs. So the economy is all encompassing, and therefore economics is a course that is the mother of all other courses in social sciences, because it's the foundation and it's the basis upon which every other courses is dependent upon. Beyond that, anybody now we are encouraging people to become an entrepreneur and industrialist. They need to understand the market dynamics, and that's one of the core curriculum of economics, to build your ability to understand how the market operates. Entrepreneurs need to gain insight into issue of supply and demand, pricing strategies, consumer behaviors, and competitiveness, industry competitiveness, industrial organizations. And you cannot have these through the knowledge you study in economy. And beyond that, as entrepreneurs, as individuals, even as consumers, you need to be aware of government policies. You need to understand where government policy is going. And these are things we discuss in the economy. The knowledge of the economy policies enable entrepreneurs not only understand regulations, not taxes or incentives, but even help them to be able to influence policies that support their business growth and development. And more importantly, the understanding that you have when you deepen your knowledge in economics, you build your capacity in terms of tools of analysis and also in decision making. It gives you beyond financial literacy. It will also help you to be able to have a kind of risk management strategies to be able to overcome shocks when it comes, which will always come, and I'll be able to also develop your budget, forecast the likely consequences of your actions, and to be able to have a grip over your risk and be able to think critically about what you should do, how to scale up your businesses, how to even start new ones, and also core areas of economies that also help many people who are doing well in business today. You go and find that many of them have economic background. It's the fact that economists help you to create innovations and have what you call the growth mindset. Because all through your studies, what you are pushed to do is to understand the market, to understand how business are organized, and to understand how consumers are behaviors. And what else do you study? What else do you need as an entrepreneur, as a business owner, as a business manager? It's all those three areas: the consumers, the market, the industries, how they compete. In economics, where you study what they call the games theory, where you understand how you play the games of the industries, how you play the games of the market, how you understand how you relate to the market. So studying economics is an opportunity for you to be the leader and to be able to dictate the directions of things in the economy. And beyond individual business, the studying of economics also help you to contribute to national development of your country, of the world, because when it comes to development plans, program development, it is the work of economics. Today, we talk about IMF, World Bank, African Development Bank, all these organizations. They employ more of economics because they are the ones that develop most of these policies framework that they use to engage the countries and international organizations. So as an economist, you have the whole world to your hand. And again, you can explore, you can develop, you can lead any sectors where you want to be. And therefore, economies are areas that we encourage students who want to go into area of business to start first before they go to the other areas, because it opens the world for you.
It gives you some kind of a grounding, especially if you are looking at starting a business. You've touched on 2 points which I want to pick up on. The one is that when you talked about earlier on, when you talked about all of these hubs that are in the University of Lagos, I wanted to check with you whether is there another deliberate move for the public or for specific parts of the public, like entrepreneurs that are not necessarily students, that can access these hubs for perhaps for some events, for seminars, for all kinds of. Is that really happening? The reason for this question is because the podcast is very interested in the university and the relationship with the public. The university and the relationship with the public. You will see that I always kind of bring these questions up. So is there an intention to say, well, if I didn't make it to university and UNILAG is running some workshops, we're running some events, is there some kind of a deliberate, intentional relationship with, because I know Lagos as a buzzing ecosystem of business people. Everyone in Lagos is doing something to move the economy forward. Is there a relationship with this city, with this state, and maybe people from elsewhere with the university so that can happen to non-students?
Thank you very much. In University of Lagos, the definition of student is not only student with matriculation number. We look at students as everybody that comes around to have opportunity to develop their skills, their potentials,
Correct.
to be able to take advantage of what we have in the systems to make
Correct.
a living, to also contribute to development. In University of Lagos today, we don't even know the number of students we have. We only have those ones who register formally for a degree. So when it comes to the
that's
use
interesting.
of our we don't know. If you ask my PCO, can tell you the number of students who register for a degree. But in terms of people who come to learn, to come and take opportunity to build their capacity, it's limited. We don't have a list, because it is a University of Lagos, a metropolitan universities that you walk in, you walk out, and to have something to do. So our hubs are open to the global.
That's impressive.
It's not to everybody. Like I said, in my office here today, we have 3 people from Kenya who are here to come and partner with us. They are undergraduate students from universities in Kenya who are here on exchange programs. So they are here for 3 months. And like I said, next month, I'm hosting a physics scholar from Germany. He's not a faculty member. He is a student who saw what we are doing in University of Lagos and is coming here to come out and study what we are doing. She wants to see how we teach our students in our ops. She wants to see how we engage our students, and also for us to tap from experience as from our country. So within our localities, we also have events for the small scale business. We have SMEs up where we ask small businesses around the University of Lagos to come around and have capacity building, to learn business management, how these are done to be able to make sure University of Lagos impact its immediate environment.
Correct.
And the locality operate. So
Absolutely.
we are open to anybody to come to University of Lagos and take a bit of what we have here. So when I talk about students, I'm not referring only to those who are registered for a degree. We talk about everybody who comes to University of Lagos to learn one or two things and the way they are before they come around.
Prof, what are some of your challenges? Because from what you keep sharing with us, I would imagine that there's also quite a bit of challenges that you faced in trying to execute your mandate as a discipline, as a unit, and as a university, because I think you've really spoken broadly about the mandate of the university in that community. So what are some of the challenges that you deal with on a day-to-day as a university professor, as a development economist?
Yeah, generally the problem we face is problem that is obvious to everybody. As we are talking now currently, and our academic staff, they are on a kind of what you call it, the warning strike, where they were on 2-week non-teaching and sit-at-home arrangement. Definitely, that's going to affect some of our plans for the next 2 weeks. And in University of Lagos, we look at those one not as real an obstacle. Yes, it's a problem. Then we quickly think of what can we do because of our network. We have a very strong internet connectivities, and some of our activities are quickly redeployed into remote learning, and that helps us overcome that. And those areas we cannot do in that way, we begin to see how we can engage students on one-on-one without necessarily having them together. We're actually not breaking the strike, but we're trying to ensure that the system works, even when we are trying to at least demand for our right. So that's a general problem. And I was shocked when one of our visitors from Kenya said that many of the universities in Kenya are also on strike. So it's not only a Nigerian problem.
Did they plan it together or what?
Yes, I remember a friend of mine in UK told me their university also, they were on strike for some time, and also happened even in US in recent times. So there are always grievances anywhere in the world, and it's not limited to Africa or to Nigeria as it is. That's on that side. The other challenge we have is when it comes to economics and development and my profession, we have problems of issue of data. Governments do not want to release data for so many strategic reasons. Individual organizations who collected data for their business because of the fear of competition, they also do not want to release data. And without data, there's so many things you cannot do. But what we do is when we begin to build partnership with those who have the data, let us work together and use data collectively together to address problems. And we use your data to solve problems. And we are trying to build that kind of partnership. Once we have partnership with Nigeria National Bureau of Statistics, who have the national data, to see how we can do research in that areas. And on our own, through the support of federal government, we have what we call the TED Fund, the Tertiary Education Trust Fund, which gives grants to scholars to carry out research. Our focus in University of Lagos is to ask our scholars to go into aspects of data and collections, to go into primary research in which we'll be able to collect data, and we are creating a database where we want to curate this data, and then we make it available to the global market. So University of Lagos is a problem solver, such that, yes, we know data is a problem. Then the little support we get from that government, we are deploying into now gathering data, curating this data, and ensuring that these data are stored in a way whereby we then help others to solve the data problem we are facing. 2, we collaborate with those strategic data managers, the telecom industries, the corporate organizations that we know, the manufacturing association of Nigeria. We work with them that, oh, you have this problem, you have this data, we have the knowledge, we have the tools. Can we work together with your data and solve the problem? Through that way, we are able to have access to data that are not free on the internet. And through that, we are contributing to solving that problems. The other problem we have here is the current mindset of our students. Everybody who is looking for things that will give them quick money. Many of our students today, they are more or less going to the area of maybe doing skits where they are creating content development and this that can bring them immediate money. Many of them are not looking at the long-term sustainable career or profession again.
Career progression, yes.
I want to go to immediate income generation mechanism and so many other things. And we cannot blame them because we are having a global system whereby everything is connected. You see a friend of yours, your age mate in US and UK, controlling billions of naira, and you're in Nigeria, you want to find out what is that person doing, and you also want to key into that, even when your environment is not really enabling for such things. And that is really distracting some of our students. But definitely, we are making some effort to ensure that some of the students also see reasons why they have to create sustainable jobs, decent jobs, jobs that also may not bring immediate gains, but bring permanent and sustainable income to them. So we are looking at that area. And beyond that, we are in Africa, and we have all these other challenges we face in terms of our political systems, in terms of policy reforms, and again, an inconsistency at times in terms of government policies when there are change in leadership. So this affects academics, affects universities, affects higher educations. But because we are used to that systems, we always think ahead proactively to see how we ensure that for every government in power, we partner with them and we key into the agenda to say, this, for instance, currently now, the current government is pursuing what they call Renew Hope agenda. And we look at what are those things they want to achieve. So we begin to tailor our academics, our degree programs, especially short programs, to be able to build capacity for people to achieve their goals, either in government, in private sectors. Beyond that, we are tailoring our research and our community services to see how we can assist the government to achieve those Renew Hope agenda. Through that partnership with the government, we definitely were able to have a lot of understanding, the collaboration, and that reduced the frictions that normally arise between the government and academics. And as we're able to do that, we're able to smoothen the frictions that normally arise when there's a change in government. So we are problem solver. We don't dwell more on the problem, we dwell more on the solutions. And that is why, despite all the challenges we are facing, we are able to at least achieve the little we're achieving in University of Lagos. And that is our mindset. Our mindset is towards solutions. It's towards possibilities, not impossibilities. And that makes a difference in our activities.
Collaboration.
And more importantly, before I forget, now because of the in global systems, now we have a lot of activities who are living in Nigeria. We call JAPA, that is traveling outside the country. That's the word JAPA in Nigeria. That's you travel out of you run away. JAPA means running away from your country. So we have so many of our academics that are leaving the countries in droves to other areas. We cannot blame them. Yes, I don't see that as a brain drain. I see it as maybe producing for the global market. We are in a globalized world where labor mobility should be encouraged. At a later stage, these people are going to come back to to give brain gain again. So, and that's why deliberately federal government of Nigeria in recent times, they are deliberately now increase our medical school enrollment, realizing that it means Nigerian graduates are now globally sought for, and therefore, why should we complain? We should increase our productivities, increase the number we are producing.
To meet the market demand.
Meet the global demand. And
Absolutely.
So now, why federal government is encouraging the establishment of more universities, and to see that if we can produce the global labor and then the work in the global economy, maybe tomorrow we also become an economic like China and India. What do they rely upon is their education. By the time they produce in the 60s and 70s, many of their brains, they left the countries to Europe, to America. Today, the Indian and China, they're having the full benefit of those exodus of their
that is true.
Scholars. That is the strategy the Nigerian government is also looking at now. Let us expand the opportunity. Nigeria could be an education country where people will produce scholars, manpower, produce people, professionals, produce scholars for the global market. And therefore, we are solving not only local problems, we are solving global problems. And that's what we are doing. But it's affecting us a little because after training some people have gone through your processes as a staff to then now become somebody to be an asset to you. And what you see is that they now study their letter resignation. And it takes a long time before you retrace some people. But we feel that it is a challenge that will bring opportunity for us in the future. So University of Lagos is doing that. For instance, in order to do that, we have a partnership with the military hospital that are very close to here to increase our nursing intake. And also we have a federal medical research center in Yaba here. We are also working with them to produce more medical doctor again. So these are things we are trying to do deliberately to expand our capacity and to ensure that at least we contribute to the national goals of the government.
Prof, AI is upon us.
Yes.
AI is the big one that is creating a lot of disruption within academia, within all spheres of life in general. How is AI impacting or influencing work in your discipline and in UNILAG?
Like you said, is a disruption. But to me, I see it as a positive, destructive innovation. That it depends on the way you use it. And for me, I believe AI cannot replace my natural intelligence. It cannot aid my capacity. And therefore, it should even make me more productive than the way I am before. But you understand, some people are looking for shortcuts. They are looking for easy ways to easy life, which does not exist. And it's not only among the students, it's even among our colleagues who are finding a way of maybe shortcutting the system. As we are moving, we are going to find a ways of overcoming these challenges. I see AI as a new technology, just the way it was when computer and computing system were introduced in the early 80s to my country. Then we have people were challenged, we were scared that this will affect ability of people to have good handwriting. You know, those days handwriting is a good thing.
Yeah, it was very.
So when you have the coming up of computing system, remove everybody care about your handwriting again. So AI also will yes, it's going to create a new jobs, a new opportunity, a new demand, a new supply, a new skills. But when it comes like this, there will be resistance. And definitely people will realize that it is something we have to work with, we have to use productively. Really, it's really a challenge. I won't lie to you. Today, we have a very serious challenge with the conduct of examinations, just the way it is globally.
So Turnitin doesn't do it anymore, even when you use Turnitin. Or so are you saying that UNILAG has not officially introduced AI into learning and into teaching and learning and teaching, or Turnitin?
No, we have done that. Now we have done that. Now I'm not sure there's anybody in University of Lagos today that does not encourage his students to use this in some way, in one way or the other. And we also use it again for even assessment in some cases. We develop some software to be able to do the assessment. So there are some things we do manually before, assessment of both the MCQ, that's multiple choice questions, the computer-based testing, and we've turned some of even our essay writing now to something that can be graded through some AI softwares and tools. So we are bracing up to that. And I'm the chairman of our committee that's developing and revising our AI policy for
integration.
University of Lagos.
Yes.
We want to see how before we have AI that was restrictive, that was preventing the usage. We are now revising the AI policy to now see how we talk about AI integration into the University of Lagos life in totality.
Correct.
What are we trying to do? We want to see to what extent our students can use AI to do the basic things they are doing. And also, how do academics begin to use that? How do administrators begin to use that? And then how do we integrate our system that you don't need to be doing manual editing of memo again? If you have a good software, all you need to do, bring your idea, let AI do the editing for you, and just think about the issues.
The conceptualization.
Conceptualization. Come up with the idea. Let the idea come from you. Let the process come from you. Lay down the procedures and those routines of maybe editorial organization and code that can be done by AI, and it will do it better. Completion of result now is not something you need to be using pen and paper to do again. You don't need to begin to find percentage of students who fail, who pass. You don't. All those ones can be done with just our simple technology, and a short note of that can be done through AI. So we are looking deeper, and that is why this year our international week, which is we are doing this week, is focusing on AI and equitable education in Nigeria. How do we use AI to increase access to education? How do we use AI to increase equity?
Oh, this is wonderful. Yes.
Opportunity to do that. So we are deliberate, and like I told you, we are always deliberate in everything we are doing. The whole of this week is going to discuss how do we integrate AI into our daily life. What are those things that is permissible? What are those that's not permissible for academics, for administrators, for students? So we are calling the global mindset to be here. A lot of discussion yesterday, and some are still going on as we are speaking about how do we then have AI as part of our tools, not something that's aliens to us. And then how do we overcome the initial challenges of coming up with innovations? How do we ensure that people embrace it with open mind and more productively than looking at it as something that's likely to take their jobs? We are telling our staff that AI will not take your job, but we create a better job, more decent jobs than what you are doing.
Yeah, but Prof, there's also this saying that, either you're not going to lose your job to AI, you are going to lose your job to someone that is using AI, which means someone that has understood, learned these tools, and understand where to you access those tools and use them to improve on their performance.
In what we are doing, the Liberal Investor of Lagos is that losing your job to someone that is doing AI, why don't you also learn the AI so that you can retain your job? So now, deliberately now, we make it a policy that everybody in University of Lagos must undertake a course on an issue of AI as it relates to its own job. So, and through that, you now begin to see how to improve your job. There's no reason why somebody should lose when it's more productive.
Correct.
So we, rather than employing somebody that can use the skills, we want to empower you to be able to move to the next level. So it's a deliberate effort to upgrade the skills,
upskilling,
the knowledge, and again to change the attitude and mindset of our colleagues. How do we identify what are the problems in Nigeria? How are those problems different from the Ghana and the Kenyan and then the South Africans? And are there areas where we can leverage on each other? And that was led to the in AFSTA, that is African Free Trade Zone areas that was developed. That is the motive behind doing that. But you know that when you have a continent having around 54 countries, you know that the heavy competition we have extremely fragmented in a way that make it difficult for us to speak with one voice. It's easier for Europe to speak with one voice. They are 27 in number, and compared to Africa, 54. That's 2 times the number of countries in Europe. So when 27, it's easy for 27 countries or the 27 delegates to agree on consensus that are common than 54 to agree. And that's number one. And we know the root cause, the colonial mentality, the colonial again are still there, whether we like it or not. So, but for me, I believe that is not a reason why we should not come together. The problem is that all African countries are facing similar problems: poverty, unemployment, foreign-induced democratic systems that are aliens to our culture, our values, and which were imposed on us and which we want to copy. And 2, our egoism ourselves, that we rather see ourselves as an American than seeing ourselves as a Nigeria, as Africa. And when I'm in Nigeria and I begin to want to speak like America, I want to dress like America, then again, I lost my identity. And my identity includes my mental, my intelligence identity. And there's no way I can speak in that way and address African problems. And so until we begin to redecolonize ourselves, our mentality, our thinking and everything, we cannot have development that is driven by Africans. So 2, we're in a system that is open, where everybody is now pursuing nationalism. Americans say American first, the British say British first, Canadians say Canadian first. Can we also African first? And then do we have those things that we call our first, that we can call African first? So we must build things that is African before you call African first. So I think in development economy, we are still battling with the basic needs of life.
Really cover it in terms of the question I was going to ask, which you've covered, is the idea that why is it that we have to, and you mentioned that why do we need World Bank, IMF, or European Union data to address localized problems, which is this risk where we always have to anchor, it's almost like we have to anchor African knowledges to global north. We have to go and anchor it at the global north in order for it to be legitimized of some sort. But the way you've addressed that question is really strong. And Prof, is there anything that we haven't touched on as we wrap up our conversations? Anything we haven't touched on that you feel like you want to share with the audience?
Yes. I just really want to talk to my colleagues in development economics that unless we follow the development processes, we cannot jump the development process. You cannot go from crawling to flying. And because the contemporaries you are looking overseas are already flying, does not mean you should also now jump from crawling to become to fly. If you try that, you will crash even from taking off. And we need to, that's a process for development. And we must follow that processes. And how do I mean? That there's no country that develop without a strong industrial base. There's no industrial base without strong manufacturing base. We cannot continue to import basic things that we need in Africa and feel that we become a giant, we will become a country to reckon with, a continent to reckon with. We cannot be exporters of raw materials and expect us to be able to be at the tables when they are talking about that. So I think we should begin to see how do we localize everything. Indeed, my discussion even with the issue of AI is this. We should not focus on how to use AI. We should focus how to develop our own AI technology, not how to use it. Discussion around how do we use AI? No. So how do you use AI? When the US developed their own ChatGPT, the Chinese did not just pick and use. They went and do their own DeepSeek. And what already happened? They brought the price down. They do alternative technology to that. When are we going to have African AI, that we speak African language, that we focus on African issues, that we defend African? So not that we now look for ways of borrowing money to go and import AI tools from other countries. Why don't we think our people in our tech industry, our technology, our engineering, how do we develop our own? Whether it may not be effective as their own, but it will be affordable, it will be accessible, and it will be our own. It will require less restriction on us. When we have challenged them, their sanction will not sanction us. There are some countries who are surviving despite their sanctions. In case Africa also face similar challenges, can we survive it? Currently, we cannot. So we have to think that if it can happen to a country B or country C or continent A, how sure tomorrow it will not be our turn? How do we begin to build resilience, technology resilience, to ensure that we have African technology, we have African tools and machines that we can use? For me, I'm not advocate of maybe how do we use AI? No, I'm advocate of how do we develop African AI. The Africans in terms of relevance, in terms of impact, in addressing African problems. If we can develop technology that solve our problems, we depend less on the foreign one, and we also bring our own to the table and discuss when we're in World Economic Forum. What do we go to do when we go to World Economic Forum? To go and listen to the new technology that are developed overseas. When they are doing technology trade fair, what we go there to go and see what we can buy again to bring to Africa. How will Africans be importing tricycle, for God's sake? How do we import tricycle? How do we import maybe basic vehicles, which can be manufactured even by a student in engineering department? So until we begin to believe in ourselves, we may not have a vehicle that is Lamborghini or Ferrari, but we can build something that can meet our needs.
Absolutely, yes.
We need a minimum comfort from all this technology, and gradually we build it to a level. As our comfort increase, our technology also will increase with that, and demand will also increase. So my own advice is that, can we look more inward? Are we ready to make little sacrifice to be able to grow and develop? And for my youth, my young guys, we don't need to rush our life into maybe making quick money. Sincerely speaking, there's no profession that cannot give you your niche in life. Make sure you are deliberate about your life. Pick a career, build it, and become at least the lead in that areas. You will be celebrated. You don't pursue, if you really want butterflies in your garden, you don't pursue butterflies. You plant flowers and let flowers
I like that. Yeah.
Flies will come in. So if we don't need to pursue technology in US and UK, let us provide a
build
base
our own
technology, and sincerely speaking, the market will come to Africa rather than Africa going to the market in elsewhere. And I believe we have the talent. I like when they said Nigerian university graduates are unemployable. I laugh. The same Nigerian universities are not employable are the one making waves in the US and the UK. They
Correct.
are the top.
The statistics are there, yes. The numbers are there.
It's not that our system is bad. It's not that we are not intelligent. It's not that we are not hardworking. But the point is that we don't have opportunity to exhibit these skills, this knowledge we have acquired. Yes, we carry certificates, but when we get an environment where we are challenged, we are perform above board, and that is African spirit in Africa. And unless our government and our corporate organization, they focus more on development rather than making more money for themselves, creating billionaires, rather than creating opportunity for people, decent jobs. If you focus on African industry, African manufacturing sectors, we stop exporting raw material. Many graduates in Africa will get decent jobs, and many of the things we import will be produced in Africa. So our young guys should think how they will join the development process to allow us to develop our technology.
That's a good one, yes.
And that's my parting word.
Thank you, Prof.